Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Upgrade Your Law Firm, Everything You Need to Know About Legal Cloud Technology. My name is CJ Scollon, and with me today, I have Brandon Duckworth from Leap Legal Software. We will formally introduce ourselves in a minute, but I wanted to provide you with a brief overview of today's session before we start. Today's webinar will run for approximately 30 minutes in listen-only mode. If you have a question throughout the session, you can enter that question at the end and go to our webinar chat window. And we will answer your questions at that time of the presentation during the Q&A portion. This recording will also be available on demand following today's session. In today's webinar, we will be covering the differences between cloud and on-premise software, what trends are driving law firms to switch to the cloud, and the characteristics to look at a good cloud software provider. Now for our brief introductions. Again, my name is CJ Scollon, and I've been a client manager with PCLaw Time Matters for the past 3 years. I work very closely with firms interested in adapting legal software and learning more about cloud technology. Helping me run today's webinar, I have with me Brandon Duckworth.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to be here for today's session and dive deeper into the conversation. As CJ said, my name is Brandon Duckworth, and I'm a solutions engineer for Leap Legal Software. My background is in network, server architecture, and cloud security. In my role here at Leap, I work with firms that want to switch to the cloud, and they want to understand what that transition would look like with their current tech stack.
Thanks, Brandon. Excited to have you here with us today. For those who don't know, PCLaw Time Matters and Leap entered into a joint partnership in 2019 to enhance the offering of current PCLaw Time Matters users and provide them with a seamless migration path to world-class cloud-based software with Leap Legal Practice Productivity Solutions. As the legal industry requires more automation, remote accessibility, and flexibility, we have seen that this partnership has been instrumental in helping our users maintain success. For our existing clients who are not looking for a change, we will continue to serve those users indefinitely. Now let's get into the presentation. To kick us off, Brandon, can you give us a quick definition of cloud software is?
Yeah, and well, let's look at it from the most basic level, right? Cloud software uses computer services, from a vendor like AWS, and we're going to provide features and offer flexible and scalable resources based on the services that we built, via someone like AWS. And typically, these solutions provide a more efficient technology infrastructure than, let's say, your on-premise solution. And for that reason, it's be better in most cases.
All right, you mentioned on-premise software. Can you explain how cloud software differs from on-premise or software-based solutions?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, the physical location being the most significant difference between what would be considered an on-premise software via a cloud technology. But on-premise software will be implemented locally on, let's say a law firm's local server or computers. In contrast, a cloud software will be found on a provider's servers, which can be accessed anywhere through the internet. However, there's some pretty major differences between on-premise and cloud software. And let's start with reliability as an example. So, whether you're a lawyer trying to provide a client with an update on the status of your case, or a bookkeeper doing trust reconciliation at the end of the month, you want to know that you'll always be able to have access to your data pretty much wherever you are and all the time. Unfortunately, unless a law firm invests millions of dollars into its own data infrastructure, it probably won't have the reliability that a cloud provider can provide. We use multiple data centers, for example. In case we have an outage, we have elastic load balancing, which provides an always available service. For example, I'd say AWS has a 99.9% reliability and uptime. That's super difficult for someone with a local infrastructure to try to compete with, when relying on its own internal resources. Similarly, security is another big difference, right? On-premise servers, are left vulnerable because of their location. There can be data breaches that can lead to firm losing clients, dealing with malpractice lawsuits. In fact, I think I was reading one time from the American Bar Association that 25% of law firms reported at least one data breach at some point. Cloud software mitigates these risks through multiple layers of data security. Of course, you may have encryption on your local on-premise solution, but you might lack multi-factor authentication, for example, or around-the-clock 24/7 security monitoring. these are the enterprise services that we're able to provide when you build on a platform like AWS and when your application is hosted in the cloud. At the end of the day, that simplifies the work that your IT are going to have to provide. When law firms switch to the cloud, they no longer have to worry about managing a physical server infrastructure for the most part. The cloud software provides and handles all the updates and physical maintenance that required to make a stress-free experience.
All right, Brandon, thanks for breaking down those differences. It is so important to understand how cloud software simplifies IT management for a law firm. So that way they can spend more time focused on the things they enjoy the most, for example, practicing law. With that in mind, are there any other differences in cloud software that support a law firm's productivity?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the first major difference would be cloud software offers increased accessibility. I mean, when you look at a cloud vendor platform, do they provide, a software that's locally installable? Do they provide a browser-based version? Is there mobile capabilities that they have? On-premise software can only be run on devices where the server installed locally, or there's some kind of VPN, technology that's integrated into that, the process, which means there's more times than not, attorneys, and their support staff can only access the software in limited fashion. The legal industry requires hybrid work, as do a lot of industries nowadays, whether in court, whether you're in a meeting, taking a call on the go. Cloud software can be run from anywhere on the internet, right? Legal professionals can access the software they need to and capture work, that needs to be done inside and outside of the office. And when you have that kind of increased productivity, you're also going to have increased profitability of the firm as well.
That is a great point, Brandon. Outside of increased productivity, cloud software also has an indirect benefit to help the law firms protect their bottom lines. It provides them with a scalability and flexibility to only pay for the resources they need with fixed monthly payments. As you mentioned, they will no longer have to worry about cost of upgrades, support, or maintenance to their servers, significantly reducing the overhead across their businesses.
Exactly.
Now that we've had a chance to break down the major differences between the two types of software, let's talk a little bit about the trends that are causing law firms to consider to switch to the cloud software. According to a survey from the American Bar Association, 31% of the lawyers already say that they trust the cloud more than their on-premise solution. When you are talking to these firms, what are some of the common driving factors that cause these legal professionals to put their faith in the cloud to find a better solution?
Well, yeah, I definitely think there's some nuances, why firms are more and more interested in cloud-based technology. It could be the area of law or the jurisdictions that they practice in. Many of these factors tie into different, the differentiators we spoke about a minute ago. Let's start with ensuring the security and confidentiality of client data, right? Lawyers deal with extremely sensitive and personal information all the time. They have to protect their clients' data on their behalf. And, in the past, security may have been one of the reasons why attorneys were hesitant to move to the cloud, and I think they now recognize that cloud software provides extra layers of protection and encryption to prevent, potential data breaches. Additionally, I think cloud software provides remote access needed to track activities and on the time go. This is going to, when your firm has this kind of capabilities, you're going to attract the top talent regardless of their location. I mean, obviously, as we've seen over the past few years, remote and hybrid work, it's not going anywhere. It's expected from a lot of employees. Legal professionals are no exception. Firms need to invest in modern solutions, innovative software to show their current and potential employees and their clients that they're going to offer flexibility, that they're going to offer high quality, efficient solutions. And not to mention, this is something that can be marketed to your clients. You want to help build stronger relationships because they'll see that you're committed, to having a modern platform with quick, high quality legal services. I mean, that's one of the biggest factors we see, as well as cost effectiveness of cloud technology. As you mentioned, before CJ, cloud software can significantly reduce the cost and the overhead of spending. Look at today's current expenses from maintaining a firm when it comes to technology. You've got maintenance costs, storage, external IT consultants for various projects, hardware failure, electricity costs. Many people forget about that one. You're a pretty big firm, even a small firm, you've got a significant storage or server footprint, that's going to cost, electricity. Thinking about all these costs, that means cloud software can potentially save your firm thousands of dollars a year in technology. I mean, additionally, cloud technology scales as a firm needs resources. That's one of the benefits of being in a platform like AWS is we're able to scale with the firm. Your firm grows. You don't want to lose out on billable time or a chance to take on more clients and have more staff. That's fine. Cloud platforms allow you to have that scalability without having to worry about expenditure on your own part or growing your own physical footprint.
That is a great point, Brandon. Over the past few years, we've seen more cloud legal softwares enter the market, making it difficult for legal professionals to know which solution is the most effective for their firm, especially if they've been using the same on-premise software for a while. In addition, cloud software can range from focusing on a single problem statement to being an all-in-one solution. With that in mind, are there characteristics that a law firm can identify in a cloud software solution to know the quote-unquote good software or the right fit for their firm?
Yeah, I mean, similarly to some of the trends driving cloud adoption, the qualities a firm should look for are slightly based on the areas of law and jurisdictions. I mean, overall, there's probably three characteristics that I could think of when you're considering choosing a cloud platform. And you want to understand how it will support the different roles of your practice, right? So the first characteristic you alluded to in your question is how comprehensive is the vendor that you might be choosing, right? Let's suppose software only serves a single purpose in that case. Firms are going to wind up investing into multiple solutions over time, creating a disjointed tech stack and complicating the process further instead of making things, easier for everyone. Let's talk about a way to measure this. It boils down to the basic level of different employees at your practice and what their responsibility is for. For example, most firms will have an internal and external team members. You got partners, IT staff, bookkeepers, paralegal, support staff. You want a comprehensive cloud solution that will have the features to automate this for everyone, not just a single entity at the firm. You want your software to have document management, assembly, legal publishing, and legal accounting. If the software is fully comprehensive across all these platforms, all your team members can work from a single solution. That creates a single pane of glass, a single source of truth, and you're going to avoid potential confusion and errors, and it removes, double data entry across the firm's process. When looking at different software solutions, I think some legal professionals don't realize that some technologies are designed specifically for just one area of law. That specificity impedes the firm's ability to continue to use that software if they hire, let's say a different team member in a different county or state, expand their service offerings across multiple areas of law, or maybe a combination of the two, right? When that happens, it's the part of the firm's automation is lost, and the firm's once again stuck paying, for a different solution or implementing multiple siloed solutions to try to solve the problem. A solution that can scale with a firm creates transparency and collaboration, for all staff members. It makes it easier for attorneys to access their information, whether they're on the go or in the office, to switch between clients and, different matters and cases. It provides efficiency, and efficiency equals high quality legal services. It also simplifies billing, invoicing, trust reconciliation for bookkeeper. They can access all the details in a single system to ensure all the financial, details, for example, are accurate and compliant.
Compliance is so important. When firms try to manage everything manually or through software that requires burdensome updates and keeps it relevant, they do run the risk of accidental malpractice or non-compliance. The automatic updates with cloud software take a heavy lifting from the firm and help them minimize the risk and costs associated with those errors.
Yeah, absolutely, and that leads nicely into that last characteristic that we're going to talk about, and which is how much legal expertise influences the product's features in the roadmap, right? The legal industry has a lot of complex challenges, regulations, forms, processes that vary depending on the area of law and the region in which you practice in, right? If your software vendor isn't investing in a legal expertise to help their engineers and product teams understand those complexities, what often happens is that you're going to build features that don't address the challenges that a particular firm is going to face. Right. Additionally, I think software providers should be, actively taking feedback from the people that use it, right? They're going to be able to provide the insight, on what updates and new features need to drive the product. And ultimately, I think that's going to improve productivity and profitability across the firm as a whole. And although, that's not an extensive list, those are quite honestly probably the bare minimums of characteristics that I would suggest firms identify when they're making a decision to switch to the right cloud solution.
Thank you for that, Brandon. Looks like we're almost coming up on our time for today. That's a lot of information to cover in such a small window of time. Let's go through a quick recap on everything we covered today before we open the floor for answers or questions from the audience. Cloud software is transforming the legal industry by providing a digital foundation in productivity, profitability, and attracting top talent and delivering high quality legal services. The digital transformation has been driven by a need to meet the evolving demands of clients and staff around efficiency, accessibility, and security. This is achieved by transitioning from an on-premise solution and automating complex workflows across practice management, document assembly and management, legal publishing, and the legal accounting for all members of the practice. While legal cloud technology is not a one-size-fits-all, law firms can start identifying a cloud solution that fits their needs. While the PCLaw time offering is not going away, current users who are interested in learning more about how the cloud could benefit them or their firm can work with LEAP to evaluate how LEAP legal practice productivity solutions can help future-proof their law firm through a joint venture partnership. Before we get into how to contact a legal practice specialist, let's answer some questions about today's presentation. While PCLaw Time Matters offering is not going away, current users who are interested in learning more about the cloud could benefit their firm by working with LEAP to evaluate how LEAP legal practice productivity solution can help future-proof their law firm through our joint venture partnership. Before we get into how to contact a legal practice specialist, let's answer some of the questions about today's presentation. Our first question, Brandon, what makes the cloud more secure than on-premise server?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. I think the cloud provides more security and mitigates these, risks through extra layers. Just people say data encryption, and you might have data, encryption locally. Everyone should, but I think when you go cloud, you introduce yourself into more, increasingly secure technologies like multi-factor authentication, 24/7 monitoring, multiple data centers in case of a major or critical outage. I think at the end of the day, the cloud is more secure, and I think that's because we have access to more enterprise grade tools to provide a more secure environment.
Thanks, Brandon. Our next question is, some on-premise software users have concerns around the ethics of using cloud software with their sensitive client data. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, let's think about this. The ethical importance of protecting user data and customer data doesn't change just because we're moving, off-site and into the cloud. When a customer pays for a firm's services, the customer has placed a significant trust in the provider and, a firm software provider especially. And subsequently, the provider has an absolute duty to protect its customers' data from theft or misuse. I think we go through great lengths to ensure the data is protected. Like I said before, we've got enterprise-grade tools that allow us the capability to do that, enterprise-grade backup and management. And I think, like I said, the ethical importance of protecting user data doesn't change just because you're moving to the cloud.
Thanks, Brandon. Now, in your opinion, does moving to the cloud save the firm money?
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at the costs of maintaining on-premise solutions, you have to take into consideration the physical hardware costs, maintenance costs, software licensing, even the power requirements, as I talked about earlier. Moving to the cloud can remove or significantly decrease these costs.
Now, working with PCLaw Time Matters as myself as a client manager, why would LEAP be the recommended solution for the cloud?
That's actually a great question, CJ. Well, as well as I do, the joint venture has allowed LEAP to create a specialized software that is made specifically for converting PCLaw and Time Matters data into a LEAP-centric format. because we've done hundreds of these conversions, we've mastered this process and allows us to provide a seamless transition from the two solutions. I think that Leap is the only licensed or recommended data transition point from PCLaw Time Matters as well.
Yeah, that is correct. That's what we recommend for ours. Now, what goes into a Leap transition? How is it more seamless than, let's say, another cloud provider?
Yeah, that's also a very valid question. So, first of all, foremost, we have a dedicated implementation team that will examine a firm's data. We will perform a trial conversion to ensure the transition is accurate, and then we'll review that with the firm to make sure that it's up to their expectations. And we'll do all this while not interrupting the production environment, and it's no cost for a Leap transition.
Thank you, Brandon. And with that answer, that brings us to all the time that we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for attending today's webinar. We hope that you have found value in today's session and were able to take away some actionable insights from your law firm. If you are interested in learning more about this cloud-based Leap legal practice productivity solution to benefit your firm, we recommend you setting up an evaluation with your PCLaw Time Matters or Leap representative to walk you through the options available for your firm to discuss how to switch to Leap and will that upgrade benefit your law firm. All the contact information is now available on your screen. Thank you, Brandon, for providing some great insights today.
No, thanks for having me, CJ. It was a pleasure.
Yep, no, we thank everyone again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.